Hey lovelies, you're welcome back to Reviews and Recaps. Let's talk about Ready to Love, Make a Move. Okay, so the episode started with the matchmaker Tamika bringing up that she feels like Ashley is always insecure on these dates and that she goes on these dates and brings up the other women. Of course, it was interesting. I think one of the things I liked about Ashley in this moment was that she took accountability, that she overanalyzes stuff and that she agrees that she's insecure and she feels like she's not enough. Now, most people will not openly admit to that. So I actually really appreciated the fact that she did. She was genuinely honest about that. Now, in this situation, like if you guys listened to the previous episode, I said to you guys, I don't feel like Ashley was wrong in this situation in relation to what she saw between Kirsten and her friend Stormy. It was clear they were flirting back and forth. I don't think it was just the friend Stormy that was flirting. I think they were bouncing off each other's energy and going back and forth, and I just did not like that at all. But I do agree that Ashley does come across as insecure, especially because on the date with Kirsten, I don't know if you guys remember, she brought up thinking about Zadia. Oh, so Zadia said you were looking at her like this. There's no reason for you to go on a date and bring that up. It just does not speak well at all. And so for me, I'm just like, yeah, I was not really here for it at all. That just made me feel some type of way on that one. So let's talk about Zadia and Cameron. So of course Zadia kept him, but she explained that she's a bit worried about him having time for her and all of those things. My thing with that is like, if that's a very genuine thing, right? If you feel like he's not going to have time for you, then you need to have a candid conversation and communicate your expectations, what you will need from the relationship, what you need in terms of time, what you need in terms of effort, so that this person knows what he's signing up for. And if it doesn't work for him, he can be like, okay, this ain't work for me, I'm a head out, right? But I feel like in this situation, it just felt like she glossed over it a little bit and then picked him. I would have said, let's talk about it. How are you going to have time for me? I need this, and this. Is that something that you feel like you can provide? Right? That's how you have a conversation, right? You don't especially if something is an issue with you or for you, you don't brush things under the rug and then later be like, okay, I don't think you'll have enough time. Girl, address it. Anyways, let's talk about Vern and Jabari. I was so proud of Vern for letting Jabari go, because I felt like if she had continued to pick him, then she'd be doing the same thing she did when she was locked in on the guy she was talking to. I think was his name Jose. I can't remember his name, but locked in on that guy that she was dating then when she was on Ready to Love, right? I appreciated the fact that she's like, I'm not going to do what I always do, which is lock in. I'm going to explore. I think you're a great person, but I'm moving in a different direction. It was interesting that she cried. Bless her. I think that she's not used to choosing herself. She sort of gets into the person, locks in, stays there. It doesn't work, and then she leaves, right? As opposed to leaving before it even becomes a thing. And I'm sure, well, I probably shouldn't say I'm sure, but I think that those tears were for her choosing herself, for one of the very few times in which she has, right? Let's talk about Ashley and Kirsten a little bit. Can you all believe that Ashley kept Kirsten? What does this man have to do to you for you to leave him? It's like you keep choosing this man. And then she talked about the fact that like Kirsten is the typical guy that she would normally go for. Isn't that very interesting? Normally go for. She didn't say it's the typical guy that she dates. when she says goes for, it sounds like pursues. And we have seen the way Ashley dates these men. She tends to be the one pursuing the relationship, the engagement with them, as opposed to them pursuing her. So I thought that that was a very, very key statement that she made. Because I was just like, that's a very key statement. You said pursue. You said go after. That is a very strong statement. When I talk about people I choose, I don't say go after. I say people I date or people I choose. Go after means I'm the one pursuing them. I'm the one being like, yo, you gotta be with me. That's not my style, but it comes across as that is Ashley's style, especially if we look at how Ashley has conducted herself during this thing. Also, Ashley did something that I don't like. It sounds like Ashley was blaming Stormy for both of their actions, both Kirsten and Stormy's actions. Ashley comes across as the woman who would blame another woman over blaming her man who was complacent or who was actively involved in the BS. I don't think she knows it, but you keeping Kirsten and then saying, oh, you know, he did a good job. No, he did not. No, he did not. They were both wrong. So if you're going to ex Stormy, you should ex Kristen or Kirsten or whatever his name is as well. So that made me feel some type of way. I was like, Ashley, you're one to watch, baby. I like you, but you're one to watch. You definitely have a lot of healing to do. So let's talk about Sharice for a second. Of course, Sharice didn't keep Keith. She explained to him that they have different lifestyles. Honestly, I knew it was all over once he said that he traveled to Dallas. I was like, Dallas? Dude, no. She's talking international travels, honey. You're not the man for her. You know, Denise or Sharice is not about that life. So she wants someone who she can be an arm candy to, who will take her around the world. Not someone who thinks Houston or Dallas rather is a, you know, is Dallas is a quick, it's a getaway, it's a holiday, honey. She was not feeling that. Okay, let's talk a little bit about Zadia's blind date with the guy she went on a blind date with. I can't remember his name now, but she was not feeling it. She was so rude. And I know like this season it's been coming across as Zadia has been improving or whatnot, but she came on that date. I think when she saw that guy, initially she was like, oh, the person has to be 6 foot tall and this to be able to knock Cameron off. Hun, the guy walked in. I don't think he was 6 foot. I don't even know who chose the guy for her. I could have told them it was not going to work. But I guess they did it for TV. Zadia was not feeling it. The guy was talking about what he likes in a partner and was talking about respectful. And Zadia was like, respectful? She's like, yeah, she was not feeling that statement. So he tries to clean it up and talks about like, yeah, respectful to the waiter, blah, blah, blah. Honestly, I didn't like how she was behaving on the date. She was behaving really snobby. The thing is, even if you don't like your date, go over there and have a blast. Try your best to make it a good enough conversation. Try your best to be respectful. Look at Vern. I feel like she goes on dates where she doesn't exactly, you know, or whatnot, right? But she has a good time. Even Ashley. She goes on there, say what you want about Ashley. I think she's too much. But at least she goes on these dates and she has a good time. She has a blast. She does her thing. You know? And so I feel like that is something that I'm like, everyone needs to explore. Honestly. Maybe people need to date like, maybe people need to date like Ashley. Well, to an extent. I put it with a big caveat. Parts of what Ashley does when she goes on these dates are great, right? Which is let loose, have a good time regardless, right? However, the other aspects of needing constant validation, pursuing, overly complimenting these people are not a complete no-no in my opinion. I don't think that's how you should date, because you're going to get Ashley's kind of results. And if we look at so far, Ashley is the one definitely getting the worst results of this whole thing. So she must not be doing something right as well. So let's just say that. Okay. Now let's talk about Sharice went on a date with someone called Denzi. So Denzi was talking about places he's been to, all of that. He was like, giving well traveled. Of course, Sharice's meter is doing ding, ding, ding. She's thinking, ooh, he got access to some cash. He's in pharmaceutical sales, which of course means ding, ding, ding. Some money, potentially, some zeros, And then he basically said, he has his dream job, he has his dream house, and blah, blah, blah. When he said dream house, the way she was like, oh, I was like, girl, it's just a house. Even I got a house. Like, what is it? Like, what are you talking about, sis? Like, stop acting like someone saying they have the dream house is like, oh my God, yeah. Like, seriously, girl, what is going on? Is it really slim pickings out there? Like, sis, it ain't that deep. Sorry. Okay, so I was a bit like, okay, she's probably gonna like this one, with all of the him talking about traveling and lifestyle. Sharice is for lifestyle, man. She's a lifestyle babe, right? So as soon as he was saying those things, I'm like, of course. Did you see her smiling from ear to ear? She was like, laughing in some coins, honey. She was loving it. But I was like, For me, something was off about this guy, because I don't go on a date and start talking about, oh, I have my dream job, I have my dream house. It was giving sales. And I know he's in sales, so he was really giving, I'm a sell myself. And for me, I don't like that. I like when things come out naturally. Like, I went on a date a couple of weeks back and, it just came out naturally. We're talking. He was talking about an incident that happened with one of his tenants. It was funny. We laughed about it. And yeah, so of course, if he has tenants, then, you get me. But like, it wasn't something where he was like, oh, I have houses and I'm a landlord, and no. It wasn't something that we discussed in that way, right? But it's something that came up when we're talking, right? And we're talking about specific things, and it didn't come up like, ooh, I'm trying to sell myself to let you know that I am a landlord with tenants. Like, no, that did not happen. But that was interesting nonetheless. Okay, let's move on to Ashley went on a date with someone called Kenneth, who is a high school principal. They were getting along quite well. He was basically saying to her that he's not in a rush to have children. She was like, me too. I was like, okay, this is going really well. But then here's where it went left for Ashley. She asked him when was the last time he was in a relationship. He said 10 years ago. And she was like, what? She did not like that. And he made it worse by saying he's been in situationships since then. I'm like, guy, I appreciate the honesty, but it's not going to go the way you think it is. Like, it just ain't. Ashley don't want to hear that. But yeah, I appreciated him being honest. But I'll be honest, 10 years without being in a relationship in itself is not a red flag. But the fact that I've been in situationships for 10 years, that is problematic. It's like, are you choosing women and not committing to them? So do you have commitment issues? Why should I sign up for that? Right? If he had said, there was a point where 10 years, I was discovering myself. I was focusing on this. I wasn't really dating. Committedly was not my priority at the time. But then after doing all that work now, I'm at a place where I want to date and I'm ready to date and I'm ready to be committed and, I want to be in a relation then that's different. If you say it that way, I will be more inclined to give you the benefit of the doubt and explore and see where things go. But you basically just told me 10 years of situationships. why am I going to sign up for that? So that I can be another situationship? Like, no, come on. So yeah, that definitely went left after that. Vern went on a date with someone called Kria, and he's a social worker. He seems really passionate about children. He has 2 children. They had like really good conversation. He seemed very, very nervous, I'll be honest. Like, I was a bit like, I don't see him and Vern together. I think Vern needs a man that is confident, knows his stuff, and easy to get along with, right? And just has a lot going on for him. I don't get the impression that this guy has a level of confidence and assertiveness that Vern will need. Just my opinion. Nonetheless, they had really good conversations. So let's move on to Ashley and Zadia. So Ashley and Zadia had a quick little segue conversation, or sidebar conversation. They were talking about their dates. Ashley basically was going on about Kirsten is the guy she normally goes after. I'm like, girl, goes after, so problematic anyway. And then she talked about, she's been talking to Donald nonstop and blah, blah, blah. And things have been this and things have been that. And I was like, okay, cool. So you've been speaking to Donald from the first elimination. Okay, so Donald probably wants to be back. That's what it sounds like. But, let's give Donald the benefit of the doubt, okay? So then Zadia was like, okay, invite Donald to the party. And then she asked Ashley she was going to invite Kirsten. So anyways, she's like, oh, invite both of them. When I tell you that, I was just like, Kirsten ain't going to care. Kirsten would be so happy interacting with other women. He's not going to care that you invited Donald. So you might as well do your thing, girl. So finally, we're at the Zadia's birthday party. Zadia looked pretty. The girls looked good. Might not have completely agreed with all their fits, but they generally looked good, okay? I was like, all right, go girls, looking good. Zadia definitely looked like the birthday girl. She was looking good in that like little pink thing. And I looked around. Cameron was nowhere to be found. I was like, dude, it's her birthday. What is your excuse? I don't care what you're doing. Make time to show up for this woman's birthday. Like, I'm sure, well, I don't want to say I'm sure, but I hope Cameron shows up. Now, she did say that Cameron told her that he was going to be late. Okay? He was going to be late. He had a work thing, which is fair enough. Sometimes it happens. We're just dating. So I get it. However, if it starts to become a pattern, and bear in mind that there's basically a bunch of conversations now about him having her time and having time in general, girl, this may be your life. So you need to be prepared for that. If you want to date someone that is busy, then you may also want to accept that they may be late to certain things. They may not be able to show up to certain events. Now, I will give this disclaimer and say, or I will give this, rebuttal / other parts or other side of the view where I've dated really busy people, and I'm busy myself, but I've also dated even people that are way busier than I am, right? Travel all around the world for conferences and things like that, right? But when it's something that is important to me, i.e. a date that is important to me, make it happen. Book that time off. Cancel that in your diary. But then that only comes with when you get to a certain space with them. Let's be honest. Who is going to cancel a speaking engagement or a work thing that could give him some good cash when he ain't even in a committed relationship with you? Nobody. So it's not an expectation, or it's not a realistic expectation at this stage, in my opinion. This is just my opinion, okay? So let me know if you agree or disagree in the comment section. So let's move on to Tabari for a second. Venetia was there sitting with Kentrea, who was the social worker that she met with earlier in the episode, right? So he was sitting, eating, the way he was eating. I was like, dude, you are eating like you've been starved for years. Is everything okay at home? Okay. Anyways, he was eating, right? Eating with everything that he had within him. Tabari went over there now and he got a plate of food and handed it over to Vern. I was like, okay, that's nice. You know, I like a man who makes a plate for his woman. Like, yes, ma'am. Yes, do that. And then what was then interesting was Kentrea just kept getting more nervous. I could just see his interaction. He was getting more nervous. And eventually he got up to get some more food or whatever. And when I tell you, Tabari slipped in and literally just sat in there, slid in there and started speaking to Vern. Kentrea looked so uncomfortable, bless him. He looked so nervous. I don't think reality show is for him. I think he's definitely an anxious person. I'm not really sure how that's gonna work. I don't know how that is going to work. Okay, so that made me feel like, remember what I said earlier about Kentrea? I don't think he's the assertive, the confident man that Vern needs, in my opinion. Okay, so that man Kirsten did not show up, guys. He did not show up. He didn't even bother telling Ashley that he was not going to turn up. Actually, this is what happens. When you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. Because this man has showed you from your first interaction, this man, that he ain't to be trusted. Yet, you kept entertaining this man. You kept him as your keeper for 3 times. Then he went on a date with your friend, thinking it's a 3-way. Well, it wasn't even a 3-way because you were excluded, honey. So, no. That is very problematic. Yes, you kept him. And now he's played in your face and did not even show up to a birthday thing that you invited him to, and did not have the decency to tell you that he was not going to turn up. That's the kind of person you want to date? Girl. Good luck. So then, of course, Donald actually showed up. And then when he showed up, he was like, I'm going to come correct. He was like showering her with like compliments, spinning her around. She was like so giddy. I was like, oh, Donald, I don't know if I believe you, but okay, at least well done for making her feel better. Because the guy she's chosen is no good for nothing. Not good for nothing. So, yeah. But at least Donald came correct, honey. One of them did. So, let's talk about Sharice's date, Denzi. The one she was thinking got the keys to some money. He looks like he was drunk, honey. The way he was, like, navigating the room, moving about, I was like, yeah, nah. This guy is not to be trusted. Not to be trusted. He is a drunk mess. Like, Of course, Cherie didn't like that. I'm like, yeah, I would be embarrassed for you, hon. I'm embarrassed. And I'm not even there. And then he tried to put his arm around her. And she's like, did I tell you to do that? I'm like, ooh, girl. Honestly, well done, Sharice, for speaking up. Because sometimes women, we stay in certain situations that we feel uncomfortable in, just because we don't want to offend. And I am so proud of her for being like, nah, I'm going to speak up. I didn't tell you to put your hands on me. I don't like that. Don't do that. I completely appreciated that and her speaking up in that moment. And then as soon as Denzi got up, or whatever his name is, Maisel came, sat down, and was getting really cozy with Sharice, even gave her a forehead kiss. Only to reach out to Vernisha and get Vernisha's number? Girl, that is problematic. That is crazy. Even me, I'm like, Vernisha, why would you give your number out to this man? Like, why would you do that? I wasn't feeling that. I hope there's like a reasonable explanation next week, but I wasn't feeling that, girl. Why are you finna give your number out like that? But yeah. And also, I really hope Cam shows up, because Zadia was looking like she was not having fun on her birthday. And I'm a birthday lover, man. I love birthdays. I love making people feel special on their birthdays. I love feeling special on my birthday. And I hated seeing Zadia looking around and looking upset on her birthday and trying to force herself to have fun. Like, it's hard enough you're not around like the people that are actually your friends. Friends. Like, I know they're building a friendship or whatever, but they're still not there yet, right? And to be spending your birthday with people that ain't really your friends, and then to have the person that you're getting to know that you're really liking show up late or not show up at all, like, that is just heartbreaking. So, but yeah, that's the end of today's recap. Let me know in the comment section what you thought of this episode. Give this video a thumbs up. So please like this video, guys. Also, I'm trying to hit that 1,000 subscribers before the end of the year. We're almost there. So please hit that subscribe button. And also tap that bell so you know every single time that I post. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you guys later. Bye.